Hey, everybody. Welcome to Marketing Monday. This is like 30 minutes of the fastest marketing you'll have anywhere, I guess, right? Anywhere. What's up,
Anywhere.
Chris?
How you doing today, Bill?
I'm good. Great marketing for the women's national game. Did you go to the game last night?
I did not.
Yeah. So we went to the game last night. It could be the most boring activation that I have ever seen at a professional sporting event. My girls are so into, women and Bria, women's national soccer. We're excited to go see the game. But the marketing, the activation component, pre-game, during game, halftime was one of the worst that I've ever seen. Now, and we ended up staying almost to the very end of the game. We left with like 2 minutes left to go, but there's a reason that women get paid less than men. And it's because, like, when you look at our women's national team, it's like the fourth time we've gone to a game at LP Field, Titan Stadium here. There was less than 50% of the people that were there, and they can't get paid when they don't have that attraction. It's not their fault, in my opinion, just like it's not the Airbnb's fault, the short-term rentals fault. It's the people in control of that fault. And that's what we're going to kind of talk about today to transition into going through some listings and how do you stop the scroll, right? Now, Chris, not everybody can get Andrew Keller to their property. Not everybody can afford Andrew Keller and spend $2,500 to $3,000 for, all the stuff that's going on. But what you can do is you can take control of your listing. And you're going to see here, there's a lot of these photos. I'm not going to say that they're not iPhone photos, but they're just shitty professional photos, right? So one thing to break the mold on in our industry. Hey, Eric. Hey, B hat 808914 from Phoenix. How are you? I want to break the mold, and we need to stop using professional photos as a terminology in our space, right? Because there's plenty of professional photos that suck. We need fucking amazing photos, like the most amazing photos that we can get. And I don't want to discredit Chris's photography ability because he loves photography, but you're kind of more of the outdoors, national park, type of photography guy, and you're a much better videographer, than a photographer. Would you agree? So I had Chris shoot many of my properties, and he does a good job, and probably between good to great, but like he's here and fucking Andrew's off the charts. Austin, so we got Chris here, Andrew up here, and then Austin, who you've seen, is like somewhere in the middle. Would you say that, right? And one of the things that I probably tainted you because of speed and all that type of stuff, the difference, I think, with Andrew is it's kind of like my mentality of those 2 extra steps, doing the hard stuff. Like he's the one that will set up 3 cameras, like at the Arkells, to get the sunset shots, like cameras at 3 different windows because he has such a limited amount of time. He's the one that's crawling up into bunk beds, getting down to get the right shot. And Austin doesn't do that. You don't do that. And that's the difference, right? But it all starts with us as the property and the staging and the setup and all of that type of stuff. And you're going to see a lot of things here consistently. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Welcome, Eric. Welcome, B-Hat. But for those of you that are here, please say hello and let us know where you're from. And if you have a link that you want me to take a look at, if we have time, I'll bust in and take a look at your link. I'm just going to take us off, Chris. So I'm in Airbnb right here. I literally just pulled up the map. I actually typed in Europe. I clicked on cabin, actually typed in Europe, and I just scrolled in. So now we've got Kentucky, Nashville, Alabama, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina. One of the most investable parts of the country right now is in the southeast part of the country. Hey, Rick from Miami, Tom Stone from Blue Ridge, Anthony Rollo from New York City. What's up, Anthony? So I kind of go through some of these listings. Look here's the top 3 right here. Why this one is number 1, I have no idea. It is a guest favorite, but literally this is the picture of a kitchen. And this is a cabin in Wartburg. I don't know where Wartburg is. It's a 1-bed cabin. They're running a promo, obviously, you can see. And then in their title, they have the 110 cops. I don't know what the fuck that is. Nobody searching is going to have any clue. Chris, do you know what it is?
No idea.
I sure as heck don't know. So let's click on it and see if there's anything more attractive. Right off the bat, I see something that looks way better of a photo. Do you see it too, Chris?
No, your screen, I think, just got stuck.
It just got stuck?
Yeah, it's stuck on the...
Why did it get stuck? What's up with that?
I have no idea.
Come on, StreamYard. Let's try this again. Present. Screen share. Boom. Boom. There we go. Now you can see it, right?
There you go.
As I go to the first 5, Chris, out of all 5 of these, and you haven't seen this listing, which one? So this is number 2, 3, 4, 5. Which image and number 1 should actually be their hero image?
Yeah, number 2 should be their hero image.
1,000%, right? That is a way better hero image than of the kitchen. So that's number 1. A lot of you don't pick your hero image correctly. And this is a great sunset photo. I would classify this as good to great. I wouldn't say it's the most phenomenal, photo that I've ever seen, but I love it the time of day. And I love the staging out here, with the, the blanket, kind of swath there, the hot tub. I don't know what the heck that thing is. I would definitely have the lights on. They forgot to turn the lights on inside of the hot tub. And here's the other thing that is a huge deal for me, folks. They don't have that little table staged, and they don't have this staged very well. That is an afterthought for them, right? They did a great job here. They did a great job here. These accents are great. They've got the wine glasses there, but you got to have something on that table. You got to have something on this table. The other thing that I look at is I really would have paid attention inside inside here a little bit better on how I think that's a bed, and it looks like it's unmade with a bunch of pillows on it. You understand what I'm saying, Chris?
Yeah.
So you got to think about what's going to be in the background of the photos as well. The other thing that I would have done is I probably would have got this maybe 5, 10, 15 minutes later. So that way these lights are a little bit more powerful, and I would trim this branch out of the way to create a much more powerful hero image. Do you have any insights to that, Chris?
Yeah, I mean, I think the big difference between the two is that this one, if I'm looking through a bunch of similar properties, this one makes me actually want to stop and take a look inside. Like the whole point of the hero photo, the cover photo, is to get me to stop looking at all the other listings, click into a specific listing, and then view the rest of the photos, learn more about the property, right? So every home has a kitchen, right? That's a universal thing. If you're not going to find a place that doesn't have a kitchen, but do you have one that has a large deck that has the scrolling or the doors that open up into, I'm also guessing it's a bedroom, with the hot tub, with a little fire pit, like that backyard, the whole deck area is super, super cool. It's unique, it's different, and that's what you should lead with, because that's going to be the scroll stopper of, hey, wow, that's awesome. Let me look into this more and see if it fits my needs over just, the kitchen, which again, every home has a kitchen, and your kitchen's not going to stand out that much compared to every other kitchen because they're all basically the same kind of stuff.
Agreed. So Eric Corson from STR Tech Talk. Weird. I Googled 110 cops to see what the heck it was, found the same listing. It has that outside picture as the number 1 picture. Eric, is that an Airbnb listing, or is that in a direct booking site that you found? Because here's something that I want to point out. Chris, you and I have done some testing, and we've seen that, not only are images, testing. See, so Eric just said, yes, it's Airbnb, right? So Eric, here's one of the problems is it's AI, and it's Airbnb is choosing for different people to see, different images in the hero. Just as Chris, you remember when we were going through and testing the cleaning fees, they're literally including cleaning fees in an all-inclusive rate for some people to see them. And then they're showing rate plus cleaning fees and everything else without us even knowing or being able to select what's happening with that stuff. So one of the ways to combat this, and what Eric just identified, is he saw this image as opposed to the kitchen image, is when I click on an image, where does it take me, Chris? It takes me to rooms, it takes me to the photo tour. You've got to turn off that photo tour to have complete control of your listings. That is a huge component from an optimization standpoint. Does this move you up in the rankings? Are you going to see this needle move with rank reads? No. What you're going to do is you're going to see this needle move based on the number of photos that people actually look at, in the sequence that you want them to go through, and the time that they spend on your listing. Chris, you want to talk about that real quick?
Yeah, one of the most difficult things to get as far as the rankings is to actually get the time on page. That's the SEO term for it. That's why videos are such a popular thing on most pages, because You want to get people to spend more time on a page, and a video is a great way to do that. But Airbnb doesn't let us do that. And so what you're trying to do is walk them through an experience. And we talk about this all the time. It's one of the things, and it's always a funny demonstration at boot camps when you grab someone's hand and like you're walking, they're walking you through the house. But that's really what we're trying to do. We're doing a house tour, but with photos, because on Airbnb we aren't allowed to use video to be able to share that experience of outside to inside, key amenities to all the other rooms, and shoving the less important stuff to the back because it's not as important to the storytelling. But plenty of people miss out on the key photos, the key things early on. Kenny had a great statistic at, I say B&B camp. That was like the average person only makes it through 15 photos. They're like, holy crap. If you think about how most people lay out their photos, like they may not even see some of the key amenities if you don't have your photos set up well.
I'm gonna challenge that. I want to know how he gets that fucking data, because I don't think that's a real thing. I think that is his assumption, and I do not believe that to be true. I believe that he may be right that the average person or the person that's skimming may only look through 15, but I could care less about them. Just like you know where I'm going with this, right? I don't care about that person. What I care about is that I take the person on the journey and they see all 50 of my photos or all 72 of my photos. A lot of people think that you shouldn't load up, with everything. Like, I mean, I haven't even built out my listing yet for, the Whitefish retreat, Chris, but my God, I mean, the amount of things that I want and need to showcase to give me the separation from every other property that does not exist in that market, with the 2 houses, the 12 bedrooms, the sauna, the red light, the game room, all the games that we, bought for B&B camp. I've got them. And that's one thing too. Did you play bucket golf by chance?
I did not. I didn't get a chance to get over there.
You did not? So I'm going to show everybody. Did you see anybody playing it there?
Yeah. Yeah, we have photos and videos of people playing it too.
So here is something that I now have at like 5 of my properties. And why can I not get the freaking, for it to pull up? What the? I'm going to cuss. I never do that, but I'm going to cuss. Oh, it's bucketgolfgame.com. So this is something from Shark Tank, just FYI. And let's see, here we go. This is bucket golf. And I had glow in the dark bucket golf. I've got glow in the dark at I hate these things. And basically it's a little bucket, it's an oversized wiffle ball, and you literally can go and play golf. And for like $254, you have a tremendous amenity that you can drop in that nobody else has that checks the box for golf. I'm not saying to go check the box in Airbnb that, hey, you have a mini golf course or whatever, but this is one low cost amenity that we can add. And when you see it, I don't know if there's any good photos of it with glow in the dark. That's a hard thing to be able to do, but this works for any type of property. And you look at how you can make it fun over here with the slide and the kids and everything. It is awesome. So glow in the dark bucket golf, $254. This is a low cost amenity that you guys can have in your first 5. And that's one thing as I go back. Why is this not following me, Christopher?
Is it just sharing a specific tab and not your whole window?
Yeah, I'm not that. I mean, that's like technical stuff. I mean, come on. I don't know. The window. There we go. Okay. Duh. You'd think I would know how to do that. So if I go back and I click on the second one, I look at the first 5. I see one amenity, which is the fire pit and the views, right? Which I already saw inside their hero image. I don't know why anybody needs to show this, and I'm definitely not showing the bedroom, and I'm not showing my swing. So I've got 3 views here. I'm going to use the view here, and then I'm going to have amenity, and I'm going to have amenity here, and probably amenity, and then amenity if I have 4 amenities. So when I look at like my properties, and as I tell you guys to do when you're underwriting, you've got to go and you've got to underwrite, right? And you've got to underwrite what you have that the other marketplace does not have. And this is where you want to showcase them. This is where everybody is missing this. And then here's the other thing. Let's talk about listings, not eBay. Does anybody give a fuck about the name of the property at this point? They don't, do they, Chris? No. That is 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 characters that have been wasted in this title that you could optimize, as opposed to using Naughty Bear. Chris, talk to him about optimization with keywords in the minimal amount of characters that we have in a listing title.
Yeah, you only have so much space. So they do a great job with some of the abbreviations, even though they spelled mountain MNT instead of MTN. But you want to use as little characters as possible, tell as much of the story as possible. And a lot of times you will include, they do a decent job including some of those amenities, but you want to squeeze in as much information to a small amount of space as possible, while still remembering that people are the ones reading this thing, that it's not just for the like SEO, trying to get ranks higher, all that kind of stuff. But also, one thing we talk about a lot is matching the amenities we talk about to the amenities they see in the first 5. So fire pit to fire pit, there's a hot tub. I can kind of see it in the one photo, but you're not really highlighting that there's a hot tub, or even the views. That's not necessarily the best angle of the view to have as one of your primary photos if you're going to highlight it in your description like that.
None of these photos are very good. This is just another example of not great, photography. So like that's actually a photo that I would probably have in my top 5 images, versus that little table with the wine glasses on it, right? So one of the things is I was kind of moving my cursor while you were talking. Fire pit, fire pit. This is the hero image. This is the first image they see. You don't need to waste fire pit characters in your title when it's being shown in your primary image, right? You should have hot tub, no naughty bear, no fire pit. That's 2, 4, 6, 8 more characters. So now we've created like 18 characters to be able to showcase something else if they have a game room or arcade games or, a slip and slide or whatever that is. So it's not just about the scroll stopping, and it's about the optimization of your titles in conjunction with what images you're showing in these first 5. And in these first 5, there's nothing here to get me to stop. This looks like every other fucking cabin, in Blue Ridge, Georgia. There's nothing spectacular about this. Would you agree? Yeah.
And I did a common mistake of, there's 3 of the photos that are very, very similar to each other, because obviously they're all of the same deck from basically the same angle. Like if you're going to use the photos, use the space to actually show different, unique photos, not just, oh, it's the backyard, I'm going to show you 3 different angles of the same backyard. Like use the space to actually show unique, different things so that people can get an idea really quickly. That's the point of it, right? Is that your first photo gets them in, the 5 photos get them deeper to look at more photos.
So Chris, what stands out to you? I'm going to go through and just scroll. You tell me to stop when you see something that stands out that you would actually click into.
I'm definitely stopping at that dome, but that treehouse is also super, super cool.
This one here?
Yeah.
And the dome?
And the dome.
So I did look at the dome. Now we look at these 5 images, right? So I think they get it right by showcasing the dome here in their hero image. That's what got Chris to stop. Number 2 is the hot tub with the view. That's a great, if we open up that photo, once again, turn off the rooms. Now I've just, there it is. Is that the same photo? Yeah. So I would reshoot this and kind of angle over to the right over here to try to get this. Because if we look at the rule of thirds, Chris, like a third of it is the side of this geodome. This should be over to the right-hand side over here, leaning and trying to shoot more to the left to get the view. Now there could be a shitty house or something right next door that we're not aware of, but you don't want that dome taking up a third of that view if possible. Do you agree with that?
Yeah.
So I do like this here, but I don't need that photo and that photo, which are essentially the same photo. Once again, we need to accentuate something else. Take me inside and show me inside the dome, right? So once again, this is problematic about using rooms, folks. It's taking me right to the kitchen. Really, the magic's going to happen right here in the bed. I mean, I assume this is like the romantic getaway for 2. So you need to show me the bed. And that looks like a really nice bed, nice comfy duvet. That looks inviting, right? I can pull the curtains when I'm knocking boots at night, whatever you're marketing for a romantic getaway. And that's probably the way I'm going to brand this and I'm going to market this, is for a weekend couples getaway, romantic, whatever it is. We got to focus on that positioning with your marketing, starting in the beginning of the listing and going all the way through. Once again, another mistake. That's just crappy, lazy staging.
Yeah, the whole thing's crappy.
That's what I envision your table looking like, as a millennial bachelor living, in your own place. I mean, I bet your table looks nicer than that. Actually, you have a
It-
projector sitting on your table, I bet.
Yeah, I do. I have a high table.
But that screams bachelor pad to me, right? It doesn't
Yes.
scream potentially what they're trying to target. This is something that I would probably take some sunset photos with the sun setting and that type of stuff. And you can just see how bass backwards everything is and how the AI in the rooms, the photo tour takes us through. So those of you that have asked in the comments, does turning off the photo tour, does it affect, the listing, and does it give you negative SEO? I can tell you I've turned photo tour off on every one of our properties and I have not seen an issue with rankings drop. If you do, immediately give it a week and understand that you're going to get more time on site, more time on your listing. You're going to get more people to scroll through your photos. You're going to get them to open them as they go through them, and it will correct itself. I'm very confident in that. And then to fix this, just take all your photos and dump them into, one room, and it should break. And then you can go back in and, come in and rearrange them on your own. Tom Stone, I haven't seen a drop in rankings when I turned off the photo tour. Averaged over 1,000 more views on each of our properties over the past 30 days. Move all your photos down to the additional photos. That will break it. Then you can go in and have the opportunity to go in and rearrange all of your photos. Remember, this marketing and everything we talk about, and I know you guys, like our kids, it goes in one ear and out the other. It's literally, Bill, Chris, you're the experts in Facebook ads and this type of stuff. Show us that stuff. There's no reason for me to fucking show you how to do Facebook ads if you don't grasp and understand positioning. Positioning and creating leverage is what marketing is all about. If you do that well, you do not have to sell. I'm going to go so deep into this and move the needle. Hopefully you guys will understand that, and you better be taking notes if you're in Move the Needle, going through the workbook, right, as we go through this. And this is why this is not, Move the Needle is not going to be an hour long Zoom or a 30-minute Marketing Monday. This is going to be 8 hours of just this stuff, revenue management and marketing, right? So Chris, give them the link to Move the Needle. As I think we're getting pretty close to sold out. What are we got to be close to like 400 people of the 500 capacity, right?
Yeah, we're getting super close to the decision of do we have to try and invest into a much larger Zoom license, and that's not a cheap alternative, or are we going to just cut it off and lock it?
I'm not doing that. It's 500. So if you want to get into Move the Needle, Chris just dropped a link in right here. I think we're roughly, does that sound about right? Right around 400. Chris, maybe slightly over. We only have 500 seats, and I set up 20 VIPs. You can actually come be in the room. You can get 4 hours of additional training, an hour ahead of time and afterwards for each one. You'll have a workbook to follow through in the room. You'll get access to all of us speakers, and we've got a private dinner going on as well. The cool thing is this is right in the 505, which is an Airbnb building in downtown Nashville. It's where Stay Alfred used to be before they went bankrupt in about 2 weeks. And you can literally take an Uber from the airport, stay right there, walk right around the corner about 50 yards, and you're right inside the Greatness Factory, which is where we're doing this. So and I have not looked at these, Chris. So let's take a look at at the treehouse that you brought up. I'm going to kind of let you walk through this. What do you see here in the treehouse?
Well, it had potential for a second, and then you get that first one wasn't bad. Not the best photo, but not bad. The third one of the hot tub, cool photo. Little sun, little flare action.
I'm out though. Once I come to these top 5, I agree with you. I like kind of the little treehouse thing, but then I see these next images, and I'm probably moving on to the next one. I'm gonna
yeah. That living room instantly. I was like, nope, never mind. But
it's also the hot tub that looks like it's 18 years old.
Yeah.
Right. So the hot tub is not going to earn the right for me to do this, unfortunately. And I don't think Bria and I can fit in there together. That's like a single use Bill hot tub. And I've lost like 80 pounds in the last year and a half, but we're not going to fit in there. Then if I do click into this, holy smokes, they've either built or spent money to do the nickel gap, the shiplap, pretty cool hardwood flooring, nice little staircase or ladder over here. But man, does that scream, Blanche from Golden Girls with that couch, and then the tapestry and the artwork and the old school lamp. It is just totally. And maybe they're trying to go with the retro vibe, but man, you should have went mid-century modern versus early 80s, Blanche from Golden Girls right here. And I'm not saying this to rip everything, but once again, this looks old and outdated as well right here. So this is all contributing to not being modernized, which is going to be a problem for people to even make it to. I'd say that's kind of a cool looking bed and setup and everything. It's different, but I don't know about you, Christopher, but I'm not staying here. I wouldn't have got the opportunity to see any coolness.
No, it very much feels like one of those lost identity. Like it kind of wants to be that somewhat modern because it is kind of has some modern elements to it, but also this like retro throwback, but it doesn't really go all the way either way. So you end up with something in the middle that doesn't have any kind of full identity. And there's like moments or elements of like, oh, that's super cool and retro. And there are elements like, oh, it's kind of modern, but it doesn't really go all in either direction. And what happens when things stay in the middle, they get lost.
This is like I ran out of budget,
Cool
so I'm
pit.
gonna just stop. I mean, this is a pretty cool
It's a
photo
cool
right
view.
here, actually.
It's a great view. Just the fire pit itself isn't.
The view's amazing. That fire pit, actually, I like those fire pits. If you got 6 or 7 big ass logs and it's a huge fire, you know what I mean? But I don't think Justin Ford or Proper would want that without any railings there. And the railings take away from the view, but that is not safe. You literally one too many glasses of wine about 11:30 at night, and somebody's fallen over the rocks right down the edge right there. See, like that looks old to me. That is just, I don't know if this is an 80. Is this an ADU, I guess?
Yeah, it was just like a thing. Just ran 2 random pictures of some other thing on the property.
I don't even know what the fuck it was because it's a pottery shop. Pottery shop creative space.
Interesting.
Yeah, totally cool. But I think she's going after, or whoever, Dorothy's going after such a small segment that's going to be a pretty big challenge. 7 years hosting, 80 reviews on that property. I mean, maybe the property's new. I don't know, but let's keep going. So how much time do we got? We got like 2.5, 3 minutes.
Yep.
So this is really the first kind of, sunset photo that we've seen here. I still have not seen anything that totally stands out as a photo. Would you agree?
Yeah. What's super interesting, there's a bunch of homes. This is just one of those like random photography things, but there are a bunch of green homes. And you're like, but they're all blend in with their background, which I guess is a good thing sometimes, but they don't really stand out.
First listing that doesn't have rooms turned on. So, I mean, this is something here. It's kind of interesting. I wonder if they took this during the winter because there are no leaves on the trees. I mean, I'm cutting all these trees down to open up the view, and I want this taken, during the fall with fall foliage as opposed to in the dead of winter with, no foliage on the trees. It almost looks like, you look at this image, this one's good, but now it looks like a Halloween horror movie, as we get into, this image and this image, you know what I mean?
Yeah, there's just no exterior lighting, so it just doesn't show off the home at all.
I can't emphasize enough what Chris just said, folks. String lights, lighting. I put dock lights and string lights everywhere. I mean, Chris, how much did I spend in Montana on lights and like all the lighting around the creek? I bet I spent $2,000, $3,000 just on external Tommy Bahama lights from Costco to put around the creek and the pathways, uplighting from Ace and Home Depot on all the trees and the shrubs and the houses and everything. And then a ton of string lights. I just can't emphasize enough, how important that is. And this is just the wrong time of year, to take those photos. I think that staging component, Chris, is a really big deal. I'm going to click out of here. I'm going to go to hosting because I think most people have seen this, but I think that this is probably one of my, I'm in the wrong Airbnb account. Holy shit. I'm in one of my co-hosts' Airbnb accounts, so I can't really show my own stuff. I'm going to have to log in here real quick.
Hey, while you're doing that, I can answer a quick question. Since the majority of people are scrolling on their phones on a desktop, how much of the first 5 photos matter if you're not getting that 5-photo view? You have to remember that it depends on the person. And I actually saw someone sent me a meme the other day that was talking about millennials. and how most millennials still make purchases or bigger purchases on their computer. That's kind of how we grew up thinking about it. Seriously, that you just kind of grow up thinking like, oh, if I'm going to buy an airline ticket, if I'm going to buy concert tickets, if I'm going to buy something, I'm going to do it from a computer itself. So it just depends on, like anything else, people's preferences, but you want to have it for the people that use it, that see it. You want to optimize for everybody, even if, okay, well, mobile may not see it, but they're still going to see that's the first 5 in that order. They need to be the most important 5. And they get to know that it uses those first 5 on desktop in a different way. So knowing just the 2 variations of it's important.
I'm going to just show real quick, and then we'll wrap up. This is my big Banner Elk property. And you can see the colors and what's happening here, right? Because I had Andrew come and photo this last fall, right in the heart, like right now, right in the heart of the season. He's actually going back tomorrow. He'll be in Banner Elk for me again to get more photos post, Hurricane Helen cleanup of both properties and that type of stuff. And we're right in the heart. I think the foliage might even be better right now than in this photo. But Chris, if you remember the photo that I had here previously, exact same angle, exact same everything, but the color wasn't there. And it was a great photo showcasing the massive fire pit and the hot tub and blah, blah, blah. But the color is what makes everything change. You can see, and this is what I'm talking about with Andrew, who really focuses to get that shot. That shot is not the same without that sun, coming through those trees. That is not photoshopped, just FYI. You can see showing the expansiveness of the property with the color and the trees and the bushes and that type of stuff. But this is a big one for me. This leads to a lot of people inquiring, hey, can I have weddings there? Can I have events there? They can't because it's sloped so much in the back. It's not flat. But this also showcases the privacy of the property. And that's why it's in my first 5 images, just FYI. Those are things that become really important. Remember, as I talked about, the positioning side of what we're doing is absolutely critical, not only just in our listing optimization that we're going through here, but in our Instagram and Facebook organic content and paid ads and all of those things. And if you have a property like this, just FYI, or my new Montana property, you guys should be sharing those on LinkedIn. You should be sharing the photos and the property on LinkedIn, which is a business profile where you can see meeting planners, wedding planners, people that work for companies that are looking to do retreats, that type of stuff. Now the messaging and everything becomes different, and you want to be focused if you're doing events and corporate retreats and those types of things. But do not sleep on, oh shit, that's the previous photo. You found that?
Yeah, they would dig for it.
Completely different.
Actually, here, I bet you I have the new one. I can do kind of a side-by-side. Hang on, give me 1 second.
Completely different. I mean, that's why my revenue went up over 20% after Andrew did those photos with no other changes.
Yeah, there we go. So new one, old one.
And that one was good, but the Andrews is off the charts.
Yeah, I mean, just these. Oh, you can't see my mouse. Just these alone, like look how different those colors are. How much more the colors pop, just because it's just that right time to get the.
And you notice we don't have any string lights in the first one. That was literally like a week or 2 after we purchased the property.
Yep.
So the other thing too that I've just contracted with him and also with Austin in Montana is first snow, which I don't have snow photos here in Banner Elk. So first snow, I'm on the list for both of them, and I paid a premium for them to get out. And what I mean by first snow is I want the trees to be snow capped, right? I don't just want to see snow on the ground and snow on the fire pit and snow on the house. I want the trees to be snow capped. So we need a good 2-3 inches of snow. That may or may not happen, depending on in Banner Elk. I will get that faster in Montana, but I've also given specific parameters of what I want. Now, I'm paying an extra $500 per property to get that done because I know the value of having those photos to be able to intertwine into what we're doing with the positioning and the marketing of our properties. So, Chris, I know we're 4 minutes over. Do you have anything before we wrap up and head out?
I know we hammer it home a lot, but really, just like you do a return equity audit, you really do need to look through your listings. And that's a prime example of a photo that was good but wasn't great. And then the amount of difference a great or exceptional photo can make to a property with no other real changes to the property besides, like you said, some string lights. Just showing the property in its best light. It's like anything else. You have a sports car, you have anything else. There's a difference between like, oh, you can take a decent photo of something, and then you can take an like extraordinary photo of something. And that's really what we're aiming for, is those photos that are scroll stoppers, that make people want to stop, to click in, to look. And it's not just a good angle. It's not just a good photography. It's all the things kind of coming together, the right time of day, the foliage, but you have to take all that into account, the planning, the prep. And that's why for someone like Andrew, that he puts in the effort and the time to be able to do it. And that's not a normal trait for real estate photographers by any means. They usually do it the other way around, because it's dollars for hours for them. They're trying to get in and out as quick as possible. And that's why you're going to pay more for someone who takes the time to get the little things right, because the little things make a difference in the photos when you're trying to stop someone from scrolling past.
Andrew takes the 2 extra steps. He takes those 2 extra steps. He does those 2 extra things that his competitors don't do. And that's why he takes the best photos. And that's why he has earned the right to be able to charge the most in our industry as well. So before you guys go, make sure you smash that subscribe button, so that way you get notifications next time we do Marketing Monday. And don't forget about Move the Needle. We are under 100 seats left. We've just announced, I know we're still almost 3 weeks out. We're like 2.5 weeks out, and we just announced this about a week ago, but you definitely should be at Move the Needle. I think it's going to be a game changer for a lot of you guys, and it is so freaking cheap. It's like $100. Eric Corson, you should probably start growing out your peach fuzz now before we see you in Montana, because you're going to be dethroned for the ugly Christmas sweater contest at the mastermind meeting. I'm just saying. And the beard is all part of it, Eric. The beard is all. Now, mine's trimmed. Mine is actually in pretty good shape. Chris, I agree. He needs to trim that shit. That is nasty. That's why, never mind. Anyways, we'll talk about that stuff later. But he's got a hair here, a hair here, a hair here, and it's just way too long and out of control. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. We'll see you next week on Marketing Monday. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. And if you have any questions, you're watching this on a recording, just pop a comment down below and tag Chris or I. Have a great day, everybody. Happy hosting.